Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Winner's Circle. My name is Gami Kurila, and I'm very pleased to be presenting this round of 32 match. We just came back from a bunch of matches earlier on Saturday, and I believe this is the first match that we'll be seeing on Sunday. This will be a matchup between Rikuima and owoMaxx. I think this is a matchup between the seed 7 player in Rikuima versus the seed 26 player in owoMaxx. And you know, as we are slowly joining into the lobby, we're gonna take a quick look at what these players, or at the matchup that we have on our hands today. I think going into this matchup, the most common, or the obvious answer, or the obvious favorite to win this matchup would obviously be Rikuima. They are a phenomenal player from Japan. I believe recently won a badge in Sweetheart Showdown. A very, very capable player, very solid all-rounder if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, not too well versed in this meta game or this rank range, so can't give the most accurate predictions. But hopefully with the bans that we're gonna see very, very soon, we should start to get a feel for what these players are capable of. So right now we're gonna see that first ban coming in from, I believe, Team Blue or owoMaxx. Gonna go for that No Mod 5 ban, and this is gonna be a ban on a reading map. So yeah, already you can see perhaps owoMaxx not too comfortable on the reading, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure they're more well known for their high BPM mechanics rather than just sort of their gimmicks, right? And I think at this rank range, a lot of these players are very, very confident when pushing. They are very, very confident for when it comes to pushing sort of this mechanics cap, and especially on lower SR, these mechanics maps will be more accessible to most of these players. Yeah, and with that, we are going to switch over to the band from Team Red, and I'd like to introduce my co-cast for the match that we have today. Aquatic, how you doing, dude?
Hello, hello. I have come from somewhere else, and Gabby has heli dropped me into co-casting this match. How are you looking?
As of right now, we're currently getting into the bans phase, and we're gonna see we're gonna get a feel for what these players are sort of, or the game plan of some of these players going into this matchup. As in my few minutes, 10 minutes of doing some quick research on these players, if I'm not mistaken, both of these players are more mechanically oriented than on the sort of mechanics control split, right? And we are seeing that play out in the sense that we're seeing owoMaxx go in for the reading map ban, the No Mod 5 ban. Meanwhile, Rikuima is gonna go for the hidden tech ban, if I'm not mistaken. So already we're seeing sort of a preference, or preference, not really towards the mechanics, but a preference away from these more control-y picks already. And with a hidden ban coming from Rikuima, right, this might even suggest a potential weakness on the hidden pool that owoMaxx might be interested in tapping into.
I do see that HD2 has been left unbanned. It could be like just both players leaving it out, assuming neither one will have an advantage. Just kind of leaving it there, a little bit of a wild card that neither players can do. Ooh, it's a song.
Oh my goodness, Aquatic knows this song. What's your score on this though, bro? This is Shimatsu Shimatsu Kanima. This is I believe Flow Alt No Mod 3. I mean, it's one of those songs, right?
Very flowy.
Yeah, I mean, we have our streamer Risa Yuzuki in the commentary booth with us right now. But yeah, this is sort of your standard J-pop No Mod 3 in the sense that it's very long, almost 4 minutes long, and it tests a good mix of both flow and snap alt patterns. And overall, it's just gonna be that consistent test of your ability on No Mod 3. That's gonna be the first pick coming in from Rikuima. Let's see how it goes.
Indeed, I do wonder though. I believe it was Ruki that went for that HE3 control ban. It's interesting that they went for immediately off the bat a control pick in that No Mod 3.
Yeah, I guess another dynamic that we can mention, right? Rikuima being the seed 7 player, being the player in the of the higher seeding, you definitely expect them to try to pick these more skill cappy picks. Perhaps they saw some confidence in this No Mod 3 being one of the tougher maps in this pool. And as we are seeing the first div spike, owoMaxx gonna miss right as we get into the very, very aim control heavy first div spike.
Yeah, here we go into the first Ki. Ruki now holding both the accuracy and combo lead. Still holding on to a very impressive 98% combo F, 98% accuracy FC. the score lead is going to fly right over 50k already, and I believe this is about 1/3 of the way through the map.
Yeah, I think so as well. Unfortunately, the client's a bit offset, so we can't get. I don't think we can see the pie chart. But it does seem as though as we move away from this first KI, everybody gonna hit past that this spike. But of course, this just means that Rikuima's lead is just going to be perpetuated as you get into a more calm section. But I think Aquatic, on a map like this, you can really miss anywhere, right? It's very consistent in its difficulty, save for a few diss spikes at the beginning of each KI. Even these downtime sections are very easy to just find that unlucky ship miss. So as far as it goes, owoMaxx is not quite out of the game yet. They definitely still have some time to make that comeback, but it all depends on whether Riku is willing to give up the opportunity. As we get into the instrumental interlude, owoMaxx gonna find that miss on a bunch of this like slightly more space patterns, but Rikuima hits all of those back and forths completely unfazed.
Mind you, SSing those back and forths. The back and forths are so easy to misread on. We've already seen owoMaxx misread like 2 times now. The first miss was already a misread. And Ruki absolutely taking it away. 1200, 1300 combo and rising. 99.3% accuracy and a 700k score. There is no stopping them right now. owoMaxx doing their absolute best, holding on to a good accuracy and some good recovery, but that holds nothing to an FC of this caliber. 99.3.
Yeah, 100%. As we walk towards the end of the map, Riku completely unfazed, completely unscathed by all of the challenges that this map has thrown at them. And ladies and gentlemen, what a way to kickstart a match with a 99.3% FC on No Mod 3 from Rikuima. That's how you want to open up a match with your first pick.
Indeed, and no slider drops as well. A perfect FC, 11/100s. A great score from owoMaxx as well, 97.87. The unfortunate misses really just can't hold a candle, unfortunately. This first point is going to go to Team Red, Ruku.
Yep, and I think now is a good time to mention, despite the fact that we saw those initial bans from the hidden 3 from Riku, it's important to note that we are still at low SR. Like, there's a lot of maps where you might just ban because it's just a slight weakness, or you just kind of don't feel like playing that kind of map on that day. It doesn't necessarily mean that maps or similar kinds of maps in the same genre of skill set are just untouchable to you, as we have just seen Rikuima completely walk away with that lower BPM No Mod 3. But with that, we are going to see this match go into that DT3 pick from owoMaxx. As I mentioned before, owoMaxx is a player that leans more towards the mechanical side, and so this DT3 pick definitely makes a lot of sense. It's gonna be, if I'm not mistaken, 218 BPM of that classic DT finger control that we all know and love.
Oh, once again, another map that I know of.
Wow! I love 6 digits. Some client issues, hopefully. Some client issues, hopefully, that get sorted. But yeah, Aquatic, take it away.
And yeah, here we go into the start of the map. Both players dropping a little bit of AC. owoMaxx clearly holding the higher comfortability right off the start here. The mechanics speciality is really showing right now. Absolutely no shake on those 280-ish bursts, I think.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the case, right? I think the speed cap on this map really isn't going to be a challenge. It's gonna be all about these weird, wacky, almost even aim control heavy patterns in conjunction with the finger control requirement that's constantly being thrown at these players. As it stands right now, however, both players at a stalemate. Everybody hitting that first KI very, very nicely, with owoMaxx having a very, very slight accuracy lead. But at this juncture, it can really swing either way. And, Aquatic, I don't want to say it too soon, but we might be in for a act battle.
Indeed, we could be. Riku already recovering their accuracy perfectly. Almost identical accuracies from both players here. owoMaxx finally dropping some of those 100s, but Riku trades it right back. The combo is not dropping and the scores are flickering back and forth. 97.8, that is the combo, that is the accuracy that both players are holding right now. No one is letting off through this Ki, this incredibly dense and speed-intensive Ki.
Oh my goodness. They are, both players are just going ham at it, bro. It's now or never for these players. Last quarter of the map and anything can still happen. Final KI, the scoreboard opens, they both see what needs to be done. It's just gonna be a matter of how badly they want it. Of course, the pressure is on owoMaxx being the one at the point deficit right now. They really want to win this point. Final KI, the bursts come in. Everybody hits them as they have been doing throughout this entire map. And nobody is giving an inch to one another. owoMaxx, the accuracy falls. A few unlucky 100s, but is that gonna be enough? 9k score difference separates these two players. Final KI, the streams come in. But it looks like owoMaxx, with a score difference of a measly 13k, is gonna secure that first point on the board. What a nail-biting matchup!
Oh my god, and you were certainly correct with that prediction. The accuracy, it really just came down to that accuracy battle. 97.6 to 97.2. This is a matter of a singular stream, one slight mishaps, and that could have cost either player the point there. But owoMaxx does bring it back, taking the match to 1-1.
Holy! I mean, for what it's worth, I think now is a good time to mention, right? We are really seeing that high seed from Rikuima really start to play a part in this matchup, because we see the first few picks come and go, and you see Rikuima opening with the extremely dominant Nomad 3, and then you're seeing owoMaxx just slightly, barely managing to scrape by with that DT3. So this really goes to show how dominant Rikuima is in this matchup, making owoMaxx's pick so incredibly contested. And I think that really just is the pressure when it comes to facing a player that high of seeding. I believe 19 seeds higher than you. But we are actually going to see a Nomad 1 pick coming in from Rikuima. According, what are the thoughts on this pick? I mean, this is really interesting, right? Seeing a Nomad 1 pick at low SR as a higher seed.
Yeah, I was wondering why they went for this pick. Could be the way this map is mapped. Could be a bit more control-y, a bit more techy. But this is very interesting, because normally you would think that the higher seed would go for skill cap, as you said earlier, not something more consistency based. But maybe he's trying to capitalize on the fact that they've just undergone such a nail-biting matchup last round, and maybe owoMaxx still has some of that nerves that I saw.
I mean, that is the thing, right, Aquatic? You mentioned nail-biting. There was a nail-biting match last round, but at the same time, wouldn't it make sense for you to try to avoid those kinds of, really, really intense maps if you are number 1, the highest seed, and number 2, having just gotten out of a loss from that? But then again, right, you also have to think, Rikuima was the one who got that point on Nomad 3, and a very decisive point on Nomad 3. And an interesting thing to note about, or interesting similarity to note between these two maps is that Nomad 1 and Nomad 3 are both very, very long maps. So perhaps Rikuima looking for that, that extremely sort of war of attrition-like matchup, and perhaps that's their main justification for going into this Nomad 1. But honestly, we'll just have to wait and see what is to happen. Right now, we're getting that first KI, and owoMaxx is gonna be the first one to find that miss. Already, Aquatic, we're seeing a similar turn of events as we did in Nomad 3, where owoMaxx finding that early miss and just continuing to not be able to match up to the monolith, honestly, that is Rikuima on these sort of consistency style maps.
Indeed, you're right about that, and I do remember seeing owoMaxx being quite unhappy that this was picked. Could be perhaps that we see owoMaxx having a slight aim weakness? Perhaps?
Yeah, I find that's the case, yeah.
Yeah, I see that they have found quite a few more misses on these very large, wide-angle jumps. But yeah, it does not... It really shows that Rikuima are still holding on 99.5 accuracy FC. Once again, above 99% accuracy. This is just a piece of cake for them.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those moments where, you know, your skill cap, like, as, you know, paradoxical as it sounds, right? Your skill cap at high SR translates to your overall consistency at low SR. Another miss from owoMaxx, but Rikuima is looking to continue to hold. Really, their, you know, overall higher level of skill caps makes them all the more consistent on this lower SR. And at this point, I think that lead that Rikuima has generated is completely insurmountable. Last few jumps in the map, continuing to hold. Finally goes down on that unfortunate 5-note burst, but that does not detract from just how incredible this number 1 score is, and it is way too late for owoMaxx to even think about making that comeback at this juncture.
Indeed it is, still holding that 99%. Rikuima, this SR is just not even going to make them break a sweat. The consistency on some of these maps they've shown, I believe this is their first miss of the entire match so far. Both maps before were FCs. And yeah, owoMaxx is going to be fighting quite an uphill battle from here.
Yeah, it really is just a matter of Rikuima constantly beating down on owoMaxx's back, right? Really, they have consistently matched up these huge scores against owoMaxx, and it really just is on Max's, comfort picks that he's able to put a candle to the sort of dominance that Rikuima is throwing at them right now. But I guess, Aquatic, the question that we need to ask right now is: Does Max have what it takes in order to continue making this matchup close? Or are we gonna see Rikuima being able to slip through the cracks and overpower owoMaxx on perhaps one of their picks?
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if a tapping pick has worked just now, something like Nomad 2 or DT2 could perhaps be. But as I was saying, owoMaxx has gone for that HD2 wildcard pick.
Okay, I didn't know that he swang like that. My bad, guys. I was not expecting that whatsoever. And hey, Aquatics, another map that you know.
Is it?
I believe this is a rhythmic hidden 2 all the way back in RDT or something. I remember this.
Oh my god, wait, I think you're right.
Yeah, I believe this is the higher diff, and this map features an interesting genre of overlap reading. It prioritizes slider reading, a lot of slider overlaps, and a lot of weird flow aim patterns. This is, of course, another short map, as Max has seemed to be leaning towards. During this matchup, we went from DT3 to a hidden 2. But I think, Aquatic, what we are most interested to be seeing, number 1, does Max have what it takes on this sort of very low AR, difficult overlap reading map? And number 2, is this Rikuima's weakness?
Indeed, and I mean, just going off of the start of the map here, neither players are holding any combo anymore. The accuracy is just about the same, but owoMaxx has found a few more misses on those slider patterns early on. And we'll see a lot more of those later on.
Yep.
I really think this could be anyone's game here. Doesn't seem anyone particularly has more of a comfortability on this map. Rikuima is holding on to the early the combo lead though.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
with that,
We sort of
and
moved
with that-
out of that, you know, that first KI, and we sort of getting through that flowing section, and Rikuima is gonna find that miss, it seems. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at the wrong client. And we're back into early days. Holy shit, I'm looking at the wrong fucking screen. That is really embarrassing. But anyways, both players trade up those misses, and as the sliders come in, I mean, it is still anyone's game, Aquatic. We are in a slow section right now, last third of the map, and both players basically toe-to-toe in terms of accuracy and combo, with a slight advantage going to owoMaxx's accuracy.
Indeed, 2%, just about 1% actually. Accuracy is nothing to scoff at. That is making up for the combo deficit that owoMaxx was holding earlier. The score lead is only at just about 9,000. Here we go into another key eye. The streams are not catching anyone particularly off guard. Never mind.
Oh my goodness, it is so thin on the line in this last quarter. Oh my god, you can't, Max, you can't keep picking these kinds of maps, bro. The streams come in, but it's only a 50k score difference separating these two players. Last 8th of the map, it is still anybody's game. Any sort of egg drops will matter. Flowing section comes in. Nobody escapes. SS's from both sides. And as the last seconds of the map come, owoMaxx is gonna fall short and trip at those last few notes, solidifying Rikuima's victory and marking the first breakpoint of this match on this Hidden 2.
Oh man, that is not looking good for owoMaxx. The wild card pick of an HD2 has not worked out for him. An incredibly close score between the two of them, but the overall higher amounts of accuracy that Rikuima was holding throughout the entire map has brought it over to his side, and that is going to be the first breakpoint of the match.
That is right. Clearly, that gamble didn't quite pay off like how Max wanted to. And honestly, that is just unfortunate because, frankly, I think this pick, if anything, is useful in the hands of Max when it comes to, you know, sort of spreading out the table and assessing Rikuima as a player. It's clear to see that, you know, they do seem to have a weakness when it comes to perhaps, you know, your hiddens or your reading. So perhaps a hidden one pick could be, you know, on Max's mind going into their next pick. But moving back to the matchup, we see Rikuima responding with their hard rock 1 pick. Mechanics after mechanics after mechanics. I mean, we go from normal 1 to hard rock 1. He's feeling confident that he can pull off a score on this, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were to do just that here.
Yeah, I think this pick is quite logical actually. Rikuima are capitalizing on that aim weakness from owoMaxx. And HR1 is known for that aim, especially with the higher CS that it tends to come with. And here we go. Yeah. Right into the map.
Right, this is a high BPM. This is a high BPM hard rock 1 coming in at 230 BPM. Definitely going to be testing a bit more of that aim agility. And, you know, sort of akin, this map has a bunch of patterns that are sort of akin or reminiscent of the No Mod 3 that we saw Rikuima open with. And so this pick honestly just seems like it's completely in their ballpark. Rikuima as well, being known for their hard rock ability, very, very solid as well. I think the consistency is definitely in their favor. But as it stands right now, for the first time on Rikuima's pick, we are seeing owoMaxx pull ahead with a slight accuracy lead. But of course, that consistency is going to be at play.
And yeah, but we did see an very early miss from Rikuima earlier. That is going to bring the score lead right over to owoMaxx, holding the slight accuracy advantage. But here we go, into the key eye. No one is dropping any 100s. Both players look somewhat comfortable on these. But owoMaxx slips up first. That's the first.
owoMaxx
That's
is
his
the one to draw first blood. Aquatic, we're so bad at casting each other. Holy fuck. We're so bad at casting each other, but as it stands right now, Rikuima 600 combo looking to pull through the build down of this KI. And once again, Aquatic, we're seeing a repeat of the No More 1.
And indeed, we are 600 combo, 700 now. Rikuima is taking this away. The accuracy has been recovered. The score has been gained. 90k and rising. owoMaxx's combo is nowhere near enough to be able to recover from this. That's why he needs Rikuima to miss right now if he wants any chance. But that's not what you like to see! owoMaxx finding that miss on that very awkward aim section.
Yep.
But Rikuima does trade it.
Yep, Rikuima does find that miss. But really, I don't think there's gonna be any map left in the tank. I think that lead from Rikuima in the former half of this map, or the former third of this map, really just perpetuated their lead in similar fashion to what we saw in that No More 1 before. Even though, you know, of course the score difference is not as large, owoMaxx does not have the combo that they need to respond last quarter of the map. And although that score is trickling slowly but surely in favor of the right side, as the scoreboard opens, I think it's clear to see that we will possibly be going to match point in favor of Rikuima at map 5. Last KI in the tank, and I think it is a done deal. The huge reverse sliders coming in, not tripping anyone up whatsoever, and I mean, this is just a done deal for Rikuima right now. Regardless of how they missed it, owoMaxx needs a miracle to find any sort of comeback.
Indeed. The almost identical accuracies and near identical combos. owoMaxx just could not hold enough recovery on the second half of the map to capitalize on that miss near the end by Rikuima, and that is going to secure another point for Team Red here and bringing it to match point. Yeah. We'll have to see what owoMaxx goes for this pick, honestly.
Yeah, definitely, right? The situation is becoming dire for owoMaxx. Despite having a very strong start with that DT3, clearly the consistency and the consistent pressure overall that Rikuima has been enacting on Max throughout this entire match just proves time and time again to be too powerful for owoMaxx. And we're gonna see a No More 2 pick. I think this makes a lot of sense, right, Aquatic? We're seeing that DT3, the mechanics worked for them before, the tapping has worked for them before, so it looks like they want to continue to play in that ballpark with this DT2. It's gonna be the Neverland by A Dust Rain.
Indeed, 200 BPM, 3.5 minutes. This is not a short map, and this is clearly going to be a true test of stamina for both players here. Maybe not as much as I had imagined, considering that both of these players on DT3. Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry.
They're not 6 digits, bro. 200 BPM light work, bro. As it stands right now, both players early days in the map, both showing confidence when it comes to a map like this. And similar to what we saw in the DT3, owoMaxx gonna pull ahead with the accuracy lead when it comes to these more mechanical style maps. And I think right now it is shaping up to be a repeat of that DT3, although this map, of course, is gonna be a lot longer than the DT3 that we saw before, coming in at 3 minutes and 40 seconds long. Who will emerge victorious? Well, we'll have to wait and see. The knife is pressed against Max's throat, and Ima wants to go in for the kill.
You said it. Rikuima holding onto that FC once again. Slight accuracy deficit, bringing the score lead to owoMaxx's side. But we are going to see it flicker right back and forth if owoMaxx does drop any 100s on these very, very long streams. 1/3 of the map already into the first KI of the map. owoMaxx holding on. No 100s drop, assessing those flow patterns. Rikuima still not letting go. Any misses right now will be catastrophic for either player. Some 100s have been dropped, but it's not going to matter. 1.1k combo already.
We're in the build down. We're in the 1/3 section of the map. Who put all in my stream maps? Insert joke here. But the flow aim is very pronounced in this section. Can these players hold through? In fact, everybody SSing all of these patterns. Max just taking this opportunity to further perpetuate that ag lead and continue to build that distance against Rikuima. But they see the scoreboard. The nerves and the pressure is on. 1/3 of the map left. The flow aim comes in to greet these players immediately. Unrelenting these streams. The death streams start to come in. And owoMaxx crumbles under the pressure. And with that, the score lead shifts. Skyrockets, in fact, in favor of Team Rikuima. Not gonna give an inch to Max. That window of opportunity. Oh, Rikuima is shooting through the roof. And with that, I think this is going to be a game set match in favor of Rikuima as the scoreboard opens one last time before we move into the last quarter.
An absolutely devastating buzz slider break from the side of owoMaxx. Still holding on to an absolutely insane accuracy, but the FC hold from Rikuima.
Man.
The 800k score. What can you do against this? Both players SSing this section. Oh my god.
Yeah, and it clearly shows at the end of the day, Riku is inevitable in this matchup. Walking, hitting all of the hardest parts about this map, demolishing the flow aim death streams to come to the very end, securing that FC on his opponent's pick. Mind you, what a way to style as you close out the match 5-1. 98% FC on this No Mod 2. What a showing. And I mean, this is just what the highest seed, this is the highest seed dominance that we have come to expect from Rikuima. Very, very proud of, I think they can be very, very proud of their performance here. But huge shout outs, of course, to owoMaxx. A very solid performance through and through. I think when it came down to it, really, both of these players were very similar in terms of skill set. So at the end of the day, when you are a lower seed, when your skill cap is just objectively lower than that of your adversary, it's just that much harder to break through. And for what it's worth, they made it close. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Rikuima for progressing in the bracket. And we will be seeing owoMaxx moving forward in the losers bracket.
Yeah, Rikuima are only breaking about on 2 of those maps in this entire match. A dominating performance by them. And congratulations to winning. Good luck to both players in progressing onto the brackets. And we'll see you... When is the next stream?
While Aquatic is getting that information, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. It's not often that we can have a match stream at this time, but huge shout out to everybody who has come to watch. Huge shout out to the ref for this match, which if I'm not mistaken, is BDC, as well as Benz or Risa Yuzuki for being our lovely streamer for this match, as well as Aquatic being my lovely co-cast. Thank you for being here, joining on late notice in the commentary booth to come and enjoy this match. But Aquatic, would you like to remind us of when the next matchup is?
Yup. And get ready at Sunday, 14 UTC. The next match will be Savaju and Crazy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing either of them correctly, but...
Yep, I believe if you check the stream right now, that is 8 hours from now, Savaju versus Crazy. If you're interested in the bevy of matches that we have lined up for you later on in the day, you come and check us out. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Winner Circle. My name has been Gami Crayola, his name has been Aquatic, and we'll see you in the next stream. Goodbye!
Bye-bye!